Welcome to 5 Points Blues presentation of Back to the Basics. Everything you wanted to know about Cowboys football, but were too afraid to ask. Here are your hosts, Nikki Harrison and Kristi Scales.
Hello, happy Tuesday. Welcome to Back to the Basics. Everything you wanted to know about Cowboys football, but were too afraid to ask. I'm Nikki Harrison here with Kristi Scales, and I think we should change the title to the Brill and Phil Show. Because today we have Phil Whitfield and Brill Garrett here with us. And
there
Phil, you are the Stadium Art Ambassador.
That's correct.
That's
good,
correct.
And also good looking and handsome.
That's right.
100. I should have said that first.
He's the rooster in the hen house today. Well, when Brill was here last month to talk earlier in November to talk about the celebration of reading, we talked a little bit about Brill's involvement with the Stadium Art Tour, AT&T Stadium. And so thank you for bringing Phil with us, to us. And Phil, your story of how you got involved with the art tour. So many people who are watching you right now recognize you from DCC, CMT's making the team with the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, and don't know about all of the amazing work you do with the Stadium Art Tours.
Kind of surprising, ain't it?
It's wonderful. How did you get involved?
Got involved, used to be a security officer at Texas Stadium. When I got to AT&T Stadium, the Jones family had this idea about, well, we had a lot of special projects we're going to do, and they said one of them is art. I said, art? I said, I'm a 6'5" African-American man. What do you mean I'm going to be doing art? What I'm going to tell my friends about what I'm doing? So they said art is what you're going to be doing. And I didn't realize that it was going to really change my life, what it does. I learned that the art comes from the heart, the passion that you have. I also learned that people are people, and art can influence anybody, any age, any race, any color, or creed. We have it where I have a special person that is with me today, and her name is Miss Brill Garrett. And we have been friends over the last 25 years, and it makes it real easy because we now know we can influence the world at what we're doing. There is no eyes, and when you're doing stuff by yourself, you need to have a partner in crime. So that's why I come in with Miss Garrett. Miss Garrett is a very wonderful person, is smart and intelligent. I've learned a lot from her, and I guess we go hand in hand. So we like Laurel and Hardy. We're like Batman and Robin. And I ain't going to tell you who's Batman or Robin. It's really not about that. It's about having a good time, and it's good to have somebody that you can kind of go in the trenches with you.
Yeah, and Brill, could you talk about how you got involved with the art tour? And when Phil talked about influencing the world, I know you're in particularly happy at the way that the both of you are able to influence the young people in the Arlington ISD.
Well, Phil and I both have a passion for art. We have a passion for football, and we see a parallel between those two. They both bring people from all different backgrounds together, and it can allow people to have a passion. And so Phil and I are both involved with touring the entire Arlington ISD fifth grade, which is between 4,500 to 5,000 students each school year.
Each year,
Each school year.
5,000 kids from Arlington, from literally down the street or just a few miles away.
This stadium is in Arlington.
Yes.
So that's why Arlington ISD was chosen. And so we toured the whole fifth grade. And so we don't do all 5,000 on one day. We spread it out over the whole school year.
Yes, we do.
And so we'll each take about 30 or 40 students at a time,
Right.
and we tour them into the amazing world-class museum quality art collection that we have at AT&T Stadium. People might be aware that we do a lot of different events at the stadium, concerts, and we've hosted the national championship for college basketball and football and Monster Jam and World Wrestling. It goes on and on. But what some people don't know is that we do have a world-class museum quality art collection.
Well, we've got some photos, some slides that you all have provided of what you show these awesome kids on the tour. The first one we're going to start with, Douglas has it already up.
If you come to AT&T Stadium, this is the first one that you see. Some people thought it was a DirecTV ad or a Spectrum, but I just want you to know this world-class art. That is the only outdoor sculpture been ever created for a stadium.
And what is this called?
The sky mirror.
The sky mirror.
We even had to go and let the FAA know what we were doing because they kept seeing this shiny object from the sky. And we just told them, we said, well, no, that's the sky mirror. We want you to know that the good Lord is shining on us, and so we had to sign something back to you. FAA approval. It took us 9 months to do this piece. Nikki Kristi is a very interesting guy. It's polished stainless steel. It weighs about 23 tons. It took us 9 months to build that, and it's only we have an infinity pool that's around it, but it was designed strictly for AT&T Stadium.
I had seen one other thing by Anish Kapoor, and that's from your old stomping grounds in Chicago. This is the same guy who did the bean, right?
Exactly right. And you notice with Sky Mirror, one of the features as you approach Sky Mirror from the stadium, you will see yourself reflected in it. And so we like to think that brings the art to life. You are starring in it. So that's on one side. As you approach on the other side, of course, you will see the sky reflected in Sky Mirror. So Anish Kapoor's idea was when you're looking on the side where we're seeing the human beings, that's during the Renaissance when we were all focused on human behavior and how we can improve as human beings. On the sky side, he was thinking about people during ancient times who were always focused on nature and looking up to the heavens and gods. So you get the contrast. And this is one of the most important takeaways that we emphasize with the students. It is essential when you look at these installations to look at them from different physical positions. If you only stayed on the one side, you would only see the sky reflected. But you have to move your body and come around and find another position where then you can see yourself reflected in it.
And game days or anything at the stadium, my parking is, I have to walk past the Sky Mirror literally to go into the stadium. And every time it's different because it's a different time of day. The sky may be totally blue. It may be overcast. You know, it's a totally different look every time. And Phil, you joked about it kind of being shaped like a satellite dish. I do know for a fact that ever since the Joneses had it installed, we have gotten free HBO and Showtime inside the stadium.
It brings it down to reality. And then we had a water around it, and some people would have let them know that this is not a swimming pool.
No.
When I jump in, we will take you to jail.
Hey, but before we go on, you talk about visiting with the artists. And could you please go more into your background of the way you got involved with the stadium art tours was by visiting directly with these artists as they would come into town?
Artists come in town. I had a list of artists that the Joneses had in mind. Now, keep in mind, I didn't know anything about installation, so I thought I was the most unlikely person. I actually thought I was being a little punished or something. I was thinking about praying and to the gods, and so they would come down and talk to me about how I got started. But this is the whole thing. I didn't know anything about art, so I went to the airport, picked them up, brought them back to AT&T Stadium, and then we worked our magic then. I had to learn a little bit about each artist. Now, each artist was completely different. Sometimes I stayed up there all night, and sometimes a cup of coffee, sometimes just kind of hanging out with them. It gave me an opportunity to learn world-class art because after you get to know a person, then you know what they like. You go ahead and do your thing. So what I did, I figured out what they like. Sometimes you get up in the morning and you find out that they want a cup of coffee. I did whatever it took. I didn't want you to think that, okay, this was some brilliant idea. It was an idea of just two people getting to know each other. And once you know people, and each artist let me know that they had the passion. The passion is what it's really about. And they showed me what was on the inside of them. So I said, okay, I'm going to show you my passion. My passion is for people. So when I go in, it's just as simple as it can be. You go in here, we're going to do your art piece. I really don't know how we're going to do it, but we figured it out.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
And Brill, how did you get started with the art? How did the two of you team up with each other?
Well, Phil and I both have the passion for art. Mm-hmm. So I used to say that art transformed Phil's life, but really Phil transformed his life through art. And so both of us now have this passion, and we've been to 2x2 at the Rashofsky House together. We've been to the Modern in Fort Worth to events there. And so this is a bond that we have that brings us together. But remember, we've known each other since he started at Texas Stadium in security in 1993.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So we've always had a connection.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that when we started doing this, I didn't understand that she could finish my sentences. I could finish her sentences. So what makes it really interesting is how you have a friend and then you say, but we did not know that this would be just this perfect, because we did our tours, and then I noticed she came with a perspective and I came with another perspective. So she can stop, I can start with her, I can go before her. She doesn't have a problem with how me and her do this. And it makes it real nice when you can have a friend up there. I know she's my friend, and I know she's proven to be my friend, but it just really, I just like to see us, I like to smell intelligent, smart lady next to me. Then when I go in, and she also good looking too.
Yeah, there you go. The real work of art, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Phil and I were doing some tours for some special groups, and then Phil had the idea, we need to bring this to the kids. We're going to have their attention. They're going to walk in AT&T Stadium, and they are so excited to be there. And then there we are with the art, and we've captured their attention. So it's been a dream of his, and now we've made it a reality. This, I think, is the 4th year that we've been touring the Arlington ISD 5th graders.
Yeah, well, we're going to see some more of the works of art, and what the kids see is the same thing that you can see as a Cowboy fan, as an art lover, just someone who was curious about what is out at the stadium. When you sign up for the stadium tours, which are Monday through Thursday, 3 times, Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m., 12 p.m., and 2 p.m., and let's look at some more of the works of art. So, Douglas, if we could pull up, this next one is by Jim Campbell, and, tell us about that. That's remarkable.
Okay, Jim Campbell used to be an electrical engineer for about 35 years. Jim Campbell comes in, and once he knows he has his piece, we actually run around in the game, and we actually had a place where we filmed each one of the plays. Now, imagining you have a place where you say, well, I'm going to put these lights up. He has over 3,000 LED lights. Now,
Oh, wow.
There are over 3,000 lights in
3,000 lights in a 10 by 12 design. Now, there's nothing on the wall, and then there's nothing on the floor. The art collection by Jim Campbell, he's a San Francisco guy. What I like about all of our artists is that you can also go on the internet, and you'll find out that he has done lights. He loves the lights. He was an engineer, but he did that all his life. So when he was chosen, one of the persons chosen for our, he comes in, he does his thing. It actually took him about a week to install that, but he filmed it, and then he has a program where it runs 24/7.
Oh, wow.
We have to actually run it out, and then the bulbs are not hot. We don't want people touching. Let's get that understood. Don't touch the art, because your fingerprints or your hands, some people think it's a thing to run through or play with, and it's not.
Now, where do we find this, Brill? Is this right as we walk into the stadium?
Yes, this is right when you walk in entry A at the 24/7 entry, 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Oh,
Sure.
nice.
And so it is actually 3-dimensional. So you may not be capturing that when you're seeing it on the flat screen, but the beauty of it is the lights are twinkling on and off. They're run by a computer program, and they randomly go on and off. So everyone is so impressed with it. But this work is layered. So then you pull your phone out and you look through your camera, and inside of those lights, you can see some of the most famous Dallas Cowboys plays. So when you look through your camera, it becomes digital art. So it's
Wow.
layered.
Cool.
It's awesome.
That is really
fantastic.
cool. Yes.
Well, right in that same area is another work of art, and Douglas, our producer, who is working extra time today, if we could pull up the next piece. This is by Ellsworth Kelly. And now, I'm sorry, what is this that we're looking at here?
Ellsworth Kelly, it looks like the Big C. It looks
Yes.
like a
Yes.
couple other things,
Yeah.
but we cannot divulge that at this time. The
A
Big
neck
C-
pillow is what you were going to say.
Yes, yes. Ellsworth Kelly would have been the oldest artist in our collection.
Okay.
We got it. We got a chance to meet him, and actually he was kind of mean to me. I'm just going to tell you like it is. He was a guy who did not like the reflection of Jim Campbell's display right next to his.
Okay.
And Ellsworth Kelly was an older man. He didn't like anything. He didn't like me. He didn't like the lights. He didn't like the lights above, so we changed it a couple of times. But we just figured I just realized that he was a guy. He was a World War II guy, and his contribution, which a lot of people don't know it and a lot of art people don't know, he painted a tank on the wall. He painted a tank on the wall for when the enemy came in. Instead of people worrying about a great army man shooting a rifle or something, he painted a tank so when the enemy saw it, they thought we were coming from the right when actually we was coming from the left. The stuff I'm telling you is not on any thing. You have to understand about the artists. When they reveal themselves to me, they gave me bits and pieces of their personal life, from which I do appreciate it.
So I love to give a shout out to the placement of this installation, which is right next to Exploded View, the lights. And I feel that it's the perfect spot for it because we can emphasize the point that when the students or a person is standing directly in front of it, you see yourself reflected in it. Move to the right, and you see reflected in that white form, you see the outside, the door. Move to the left, and you see the 3,000 LED lights reflected. So it reinforces the point that we have to move physically positions. We don't just stand in front of one of these installations. And it gives you a whole different perspective. And I think that's a metaphor for life. We always want to move ourselves into different positions so that you can understand the bigger picture.
For sure. And so that what we were just looking at by Ellsworth Kelly, what exactly is it?
It's three-dimensional, so it comes off of the wall. And
Not
it's
too
flat
far,
on the wall.
just a few inches.
Yes,
it
but
comes
it's
off.
enough
Yes.
that you
Oh
see
yeah, for
dimension
sure.
to it. It's not flat. And so the shadows you're seeing are because it is three-dimensional. So that's evidence that it is three-dimensional. And it really, when you see it, it comes to life with the placement next to Exploded View.
Yeah, we never tell y'all the name of it. It's called the White Forum.
The White Forum.
White Forum. It's also at Entry A. It's where you start the tours at. Anytime you want to come to AT&T Stadium, the main area is Entry A, lots 1 and 2. You come there regardless if you're getting a tour, a VIP tour, or art tour, or a standing room, whatever you got to do.
Or visiting the pro shop to buy some Cowboys.
Come on in.
Yeah, you'll see it.
And if you come in to do an art tour, I just want you to know you see a handsome young debonair man now to be able to greet you. And whether you give a
name Phil Whitfield.
That's good looking, talented, always.
Hey, only $26 for the art tour.
$26.
There's a chance that Phil's going to be the one taking you on your tour. So
Nice.
there you go. Shall we move along and see this next installation by Annette Lawrence?
Annette Lawrence is a University of North Texas professor in Denton, Texas.
Yay.
Annette didn't know anything. Yes.
Yeah, that's Nikki's alma mater.
Yes.
Shout out.
And I want to give her a shout out for that reason, Miss Nikki.
And she is one of our local artists, Annette Lawrence, but remember that our artists are international. We have artists from London, from Berlin, from Germany, and then we have our own right here.
What I like about Annette, since she didn't know anything about football, and I thought that was real art. I said, "What you mean you don't know nothing about football?" She said, "You didn't know anything about art." I said, "Okay, then we're going to have to be friends then. I'm going to tell you what I need to tell you about football, and you tell me what you need to tell me about art." What I like about this piece, it had to be altered because Annette usually does temporary things like string or something. So we said, Annette, we're not finna do that. We're not going to do that. So what we did, we had just a common construction person. We got together with her and we figured it all out, and we ended up putting a steel plate, and those are 41 angles of cable that we put on there. And what it is a coin tumbling.
Oh, okay.
For every football game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You flip a coin.
Uh-huh.
And 62% of the time, I'm going to go a little farther, 62% of the time, when you flip a coin, it goes on head. And the reason why it goes on head is because that was usually a time where we put the American president, and it flips a different way. So when you look at the coin toss, you'll never look at it the same way again.
Wow. Now this is a large piece that's not strung. I don't know what the word is. Installed across the top. Yeah, so we're across the top. You can see down below like the seats. So this is behind that. So as you come in, about how long is that across there? That's a big entry.
Yeah, it's
so
a big
this is
entry.
a large installation.
Entry E, when you come in, and anything.
And you look up, and it's going to be
Yes.
above you as you walk through entry E towards the field, towards those seats in front of you. This is going to be right above your head.
Right. And we put the artwork. Now the artwork is designed for you to see it. We're not hiding artwork. We want to be no matter what you paid a little or no money. Come on in and see world-class.
I thought I was just coming for the Big 12 championship game, and now I'm getting exposed to all this world-class art.
But people go to the games and to the events and don't even see it. You're walking in, you don't look up, you don't even realize that you're right there next to this world-class art.
So it's unexpected. And that's one of the big takeaway ideas, is that we're always looking for art in unexpected places. And it's unexpected that we're going to see world-class museum-quality art in a football stadium. And so this is something that we reinforce with the fifth graders. Be looking all around you all the time. Be perceptive. Be looking for things that are unexpected.
Yeah.
And this art collection is. And with coin toss, you notice that it's defying gravity as it's spread across there.
Yes, it is.
And so this also reinforces the point that you want to look from different perspectives and physical positions, because as you walk under it with your head looking at the ceiling, you get the sensation of a coin flipping in the air, and it makes you a little dizzy. So as the kids have been just standing there looking at it, they think it's cool, but then when they start walking underneath it, you hear these, oh, wow, so it brings it to life, and so that's so important.
I even flip a coin. I bring a coin. They usually keep my coin.
Of course.
I get 3 kids. I give them a quarter apiece. And
I think you used to do a quarter.
I
Now
did,
he's
yes.
doing nickels. It cost him as
They
much.
done broke me down, man. I got all my money because they keep it. They say, can we keep it? I say, yeah, you can keep it. But they get to understand it because it comes from their hands. You put it on, you start out on heads and you flip it up, and 62% of the time it goes on there. I had a real good percentage the last couple of weeks, though. The kids was here because they took all my money.
Well, if we had someone in this room that had some pull with the head coach of the Dallas
We do.
Cowboys,
Who could that
then
be?
maybe we could, have Phil come out and call, when we're the visiting team for
Yes,
these
ma'am.
away games, do the call on the coin toss so we can win more of these coin
We can
tosses.
win. We need to be able
Pre-game.
to win everything. I think I'm a good luck charm anyway. So
Yeah.
How we doing,
we'll
guys?
Flip it.
Yeah, thank you, Jason. Brill's doing great. You'll be proud of her. Hey, may we go along and see the next
ma'am.
installation? And this is by Wayne Gonzalez. And that's actually, Phil and I see this during the CMT. It's kind of down on a lower level, but where the judges go during the breaks for the CMT competition. But tell us about what we're seeing here.
Okay, Wayne Gonzalez is a New Orleans guy. He's a Cajun-born guy. Most time people hear his name and they think he's something else, and I tell them, no, he's just Cajun. Got the chance to look at this piece from a distance. It looks like people.
It's not?
Okay.
I thought it.
Well,
no,
then-
it's people. It's people in the stands cheering.
There you go,
Yeah.
cheering crowd.
Right.
Okay, but when you go closer, this artist's view is, if you look at it from this way, when you look out from back here as people, when you go closer, you can't tell what it is.
Oh, wow.
And he does that. That's his claim to fame. Each one of these artists does something that's passionate. They do what they love to do. This is a NASCAR crowd. Most people
Really?
look at it and then see if I see some of my friends in it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna tell them because we're not gonna pay you. If I tell you, if I had to do it, I may have to give you some money. So if I see you up there and I know, I'm just gonna act like I don't know what's going on.
I thought it was Cowboys fans, to be honest.
No, it's a photograph that Wayne Gonzalez took off the internet.
No
And so
way.
he
Yes,
is
he
a
did.
believer in kind of the Big Brother idea, and we never know who's watching us. So if you've been to a NASCAR race, you might see yourself in there. And the technique that he's used is Bend-Aid dots, which is the evolution of pointillism. So it's brush strokes, and he's done each brushstroke himself. This was actually the first acquisition for the collection.
Really?
And you can see why it was an easy decision.
Sure.
The color,
Silver and blue now. Don't forget that.
the color.
It's cowboy.
And of course,
Absolutely.
the subject matter. And I think the subject matter really comes to life for me. The name of it is Cheering Crowd. And so we all have the temptation to stay home. Some people have surround sound and big high definition screens to watch the games. And when the Cowboys score a touchdown or Jordan Lewis made the interception at the end of the game, you jump off your sofa with your arms in the air and you're cheering, and there's nobody there. So when you are at the game, you are part of that energy. You are part of the cheering crowd. And this reminds you of that. There's nothing like being there. And you're bringing part of the reason that we're going to win the game when you're there to help support us. So
right.
I
You have
love
to do it.
I love that part of this one.
Now, the artists that were selected, did they do their pieces at the stadium, or did they already have these pieces in mind? or did the Jones
It's
family?
both.
Did
So
they
it's
say
both.
football related? Okay.
So there was an art council, and some of these were acquisitions, like Cheering Crowd. It already existed.
Okay.
So it was acquired, and then others were commissioned. So, for example, Annette Lawrence Coin Toss, she knew that was going to be her space, and she created whatever she wanted to create there. And so that was commissioned. And this is a reminder, too, that this collection from the Jones family is a permanent collection. Everything is staying in the stadium. Right. It's there for as long as the stadium's there. So it truly is a gift from the Jones family to all of us to enjoy this incredible art collection.
And we had 3 criteria that we had to go by with the artists. Okay, first one, if you're going to do your artwork, we can't do no kind of artwork that would offend a normal person walking in AT&T Stadium.
Okay.
Normal person. Second of all, we did not want no political affiliation. People are going to argue, fuss, and fight about that. And last but not least, your religious preference has nothing to do with artwork that we have. We wanted you to come in, you get to see world-class art, you get to come in and say, I can see a part of me in it. And we also want the kids to know that they're not weird, that you actually okay. The stuff that you're doing, if you think a little different from other kids, guess what? You're okay. You're okay. We don't want the all the time ass kid or no kid or any adult that comes in here, hey, you all right.
There's no judgment.
No, we ain't judging you. Come on in here. Come on in here and see art.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see the next piece, and it's by Teresita Fernandez.
Okay, Teresita Fernandez is of Cuban descent. She comes in with an idea of, first of all, that we are too busy. It's called a Starfield. The Starfield is a unique piece because she has mirror cubes on it. Once you see it in person, you'll notice there's mirror cubes. She's saying that we need to take our time. We need to take our time and take her piece and look up. We need to look in the sky. So those cubes on there are supposed to be stars in the sky. And the black background is supposed to be the night sky. She's saying that every time we're doing something, I thought about when I go on vacation, that somebody's emailing you, somebody's texting you. And I think you have to get to a point where you have to leave your phones, not necessarily at home, but you need to cut them off.
Yeah.
Yeah, and enjoy what's around you.
Right.
Yeah. We're starting to run short on time, so if we can, let's go ahead and hit a couple of more. So, Douglas, could you please bring up the next piece by Gary Simmons, and Brill, tell us about what we're going to see right here from Gary Simmons. There
Gary
it is.
Simmons, this is called Blue Field Explosion. And so Gary Simmons has a special technique he uses with his art, and it's kind of erasing. So he started with chalkboards, and he took some 1930s cartoon characters who had some racist elements to them. And so he would take his forearm and draw them in chalk and then erase them, so physically with his forearm. And so you're seeing that technique applied here. He's erasing, he's pushing with his arms physically that oil paint, and it creates this incredible explosion that you're seeing there. And of course that relates to what goes on our field.
Yeah,
so you feel that energy, blue field explosion, and it's amazing.
And it's big.
Wow.
Yes,
Very
it's
big.
so large. That's actually an escalator that you see on the left there. So if that gives you an idea of how big. And then down below, you can see one of the concourses down there. Well, I want to do at least one more. So Douglas, can we pull up the one by Mel Bachner? And I want you to, I love this piece. They've made it into a T-shirt at the Pro Shop.
And a tote bag.
And a tote bag. Why is this art?
So Mel Bachner is one of the founders of the conceptualist art movement. And so at that point, artists were saying, everything has been painted, people, landscapes, etc. Why don't we paint words? And the idea is that the object of art is not what's important. It's the perception that you take away. So the perception, the impression that you leave the installation with is actually the art. So in this one was commissioned. He created this specifically for this space. And you can see it starts with win, and then as you go through the additional words, vanquish, etc., with the final one being kick some butt, it's taking some extreme words of that same idea of win, and it gives you a different perspective on that.
And it's huge. What is that, about 2 stories high?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And the win, Mel Buckner was inspired by his dad, which was a billboard guy. Again, artwork can be anything. There is no rules or rules that says you can't do something. And the biggest problem we had with that was kick some butt. People didn't mind you beating somebody to the pulp, but they do have a problem with you kicking some butt.
This is a good contrast to the previous one we talked about with Gary Simmons physically using his arms, and he was so hands-on. Whereas Mel Bachner, again, he thinks of the idea, and then other people painted this. He had nothing to do with it, with the actual creation of it. Right. It's just, again, the idea is what he thinks is the art. He chose the font, he chose the colors, but his hands were not part of it, which is a stark contrast to Gary Simmons.
Remember this, the last thing about this, any piece of artwork is either done by the artist or an art installer. An art installer has the same passion as an artist. So if I tell you about this, can you put it on the wall yourself? No, I cannot. But can this such person do that? And if he's an art installer, he'll be able to do it because they don't guess at what they do. They do exactly what you need done. If it's 7 3/4, you can't put it at 7 1/2 because it's not going to work.
Kristi, I want to say this was a perfect one to end on win, because while Phil and I are so passionate about art, we're so passionate about football. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like this is a good thing for another Cowboys win.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. But there are so many more artists. And Douglas, thank you so much for having these ready. And I wish we could have gotten to more. But Franz Ackerman. I mean, there's so many great artists. We'd like to invite you back to a future podcast if you would come and have part 2 of the Brill and Phil show so that we can show more of these. But I also want to mention, you talked about the 5th graders from Arlington ISD, but I just want to reemphasize that all of us are invited to come there. And the way to do it, you can go online to stadium.dallascowboys.com.
Right.
You click on tours, and you either have the stadium tour or the art tour. The art tours are only $26. I say only. This is world-class art. $26. Groups of 20 or more, it's only $20.
That's awesome. And if you take a stadium tour, you're not going to see what you see on the art tour.
Nope.
So you need to be
You'll
specific.
see some pieces of them.
You get
won't
to
get
see the
you'll see a
stadium
lot
when
of
you
them.
go on the art tour.
There you go.
But I do want to give a phone number for group tours, because there are so many times where during the holidays we have family or friends or groups. What can we do that's special? Let's go look at holiday lights. Well, that's wonderful. But there are other things you can do this throughout the entire year. There's a phone number to call for group discounts and group tours, and please plan a couple of weeks ahead. It's 817-892-TOUR. 817-892-TOUR. They'll be happy to get you set up. And
when you say plan ahead, definitely, because there's some blackout dates, correct?
Yes, it is.
yeah,
Okay.
so for example, with high school playoff games coming up and different bowl games, Cotton Bowl and the like. But you know what? Let's do kind of a closing final thought and have each of you just, what is your pitch if someone is thinking of, I don't know if I want to do this tour or not. Who wants to go first?
Miss Garrett.
Well, I just think you have the opportunity, again, to see museum-quality, world-class art. You have an opportunity to look for art in unexpected places. You're going to have an opportunity to reinforce the idea that it's so important to look at art from different positions. And you are going to be, if you thought the photographs on the screen were amazing, when you see them up close and personal, just like the cheering crowd, being at the game, being part of the crowd, art is the same. Yeah. When you are there and you are seeing it live, it can literally transform your life.
Last thought. Whether it's 1 or 1,000, we treat you like a VIP. We want you to know that we're not putting on an air or anything like this. I actually do want you to come in and do an art tour. I guarantee you'll come in one way, and I guarantee you, when we get through the art tour, you'll see the passion that I have, because it's actually in my heart. I do love people, but I also love artwork. I'm a football man. I'm a Cowboy now. I just don't play football.
Thank you, Kristi.
Yeah, Phil Whitfield and Brill Garrett, we're so happy to have you all here.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Maybe our best podcast ever, Nick.
I
What do you
think so.
Yeah.
And it's called the Brill and Phil Show.
Yeah, that's right.
We didn't have anything to do with
and
it.
Douglas Barricklow, special kudos to you. And thanks to all of you for joining us for everything you wanted to know about Cowboys football and world-class art on the AT&T Stadium Art Tour right here on 5 Points Blue.
This has been a production of 5 Points Blue, DallasCowboys.com, and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?